Hey everybody, I'm Nick with Drain My Lawn, and today we're going to be talking about 9-inch and 12-inch catch basins. The reason I don't have 9-inch and 12-inch in front of me are because they're going to be the same visually. One's just a little bit bigger than the other, and the concepts are exactly the same. So we're going to cover these. So when you see a 9-inch or a 12-inch square catch basin, these are essentially the lids you're going to be dealing with, the grates that you have available to you. And we're going to talk about what you should use and when. So all of these catch basin grates have a time to be used. None of them are, we're not just using the same thing all the time. And so we'll talk about that. So first, you're going to have your standard catch basin grate. This one's made by NDS. There's other ones made by the companies. There should be a different pattern on these. Looks like a snowflake. So this allows a decent amount of water, more than the 6-inch basins as you've seen in our other video. These are made to handle a good amount of water in a lawn situation is generally what this is going to be used for. The structure of the catch basin lid is built into the pattern of the grate. So what you see is all the way built through. So this is adequate in many situations. With low flow situations. If you have really high flow situations, we'll talk about the next one. So this is your standard catch basin grate. If this is inadequate for your situation, so if you see this thing always getting clogged, or it's just not working to the way you want it to work in your system, you can change to one of the other ones and they might help you. So that leads us to the high flow grate. This is a galvanized steel grate. Very heavy. Instead of, some of these you can drill them in with a screw. We don't recommend it because you need to get them off sometimes. This one's just by its own weight sits in the grate. It sits. You can replace these. These are the same size. So you can, if this one's inadequate, it gets clogged a lot, you can go to a high flow grate. Now what a high flow grate, so you can see here, it has huge openings here. So it has these big slots. There's a structural rod welded on the back side, on the bottom side, and so you just have these big slots. There is a lot more opening on these versus the standard grate. They're a good bit more expensive. They're more affordable if you buy them in a kit. You can get them at the store in a kit with a high flow galvanized grate. But these will, in a high flow situation, allow a lot of smaller debris to go through your system, which is fine if your system is built right, it's pitched properly, and you have different catches and sediment traps along the way. You don't want to put a lot of debris or allow a lot of debris into your system if your system's really shallow, doesn't move a lot of volume, because it'll just start to sediment your system and clog up. So we use these a lot in areas where you get a big rushing water coming through and storm water that brings debris with it. Our systems are engineered to be able to handle high volumes and debris and let them wash through. So we're not afraid of these, but you don't always want to use these, even in a yard situation, in an area where, let's say you're right next to some mulch or gravel, and you don't, what'll happen is if you put this next to mulch or gravel, the mulch and gravel will just fill up your basin. You don't want that. So if you're next to mulch and gravel but not in mulch and gravel, you may want to go with just the standard grate, because they have smaller openings and that stuff will sit on top and it won't just fill up your basin. So you will have to do more basin maintenance with these, but your system will work really well. Just more sediment debris can settle into that catch basin. You have to be very careful just to make sure that that sediment level doesn't get to your pipe level and start filling your system. Lastly, we have an atrium grate. So the atrium grate is a domed lid. This is going to be what you're going to use inside of a landscape bed situation. So when your 9-inch catch basin is in a landscape bed with mulch, leaves, whatever it may be, even in rock beds, this dome, you install this in, and the dome, what it does is allows water when it's coming through with debris or any kind of mulch just sitting around it, instead of the mulch just laying over and clogging the whole grate, the debris are settled on the side, it's sucked to the side, the water rises and still drains in. So this will prevent flooding in an area where you have mulch or other landscape bed situations like leaves or rocks. The Atrium Grade's a great addition. So you can get these online, and you have to add these. You don't have catch basin typically don't have kits with these. These are kind of specialized, but we use them a lot. We use them when they're in landscape beds. So just to recap, standard grate, normally fine in a yard situation with low flow. You got your high flow grate. This is going to be great for high flow situations where you have storm water that washes debris with it, so without clogging your system, so your system will work really well. But again, you'll have more debris in your system that you'll have to clean. And then you have Atrium Grate for landscape beds, and this is definitely what you're going to want. This comes in green or black, as you see here, and the same is for this one. You can get them different colors. So we use all of these grates. These days we will most of the time use the high flow grate, and we'll use these in areas where we're still in a yard, but in a yard area that tends to get a little bit more wash of like gravel or some little debris. We'll use this system. We've also installed these under pea gravel or things where the gravel where it won't, so it doesn't go in and clog this. If we're under a gravel that is bigger than these holes, we'll set this underneath, and it just helps our system not to fill up with debris. So this is what we do. We do this day in and day out. This comes from our practice in the field. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. We answer most of them. Sometimes we miss them, sorry. If you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area and you need a drainage pro, call us at 704-489-3444 or check us out at drainmylawn.com. We're happy to come take a look and offer you a solution for what we could do for you. We use the French Drain Man materials. We also use lots of other materials, and so you can check some of our other videos to see some of the practices we do. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.